Alright, I think I was on the hunt for a boss last time that I should not have been. Last time we were seeking out bosses that disappear after the first invasion of Ashina Castle. And there was a ninja that I thought shows that you have to fight before the invasion, but I actually think it specifically shows up after the invasion. So, for this episode... Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. This boss gave me quite the trouble my first playthrough, so we'll see. Didn't start the timer, maybe I should just reset. Nah, we got this. Easy. 30 seconds for the second phase, which was probably a little faster than the first phase, but definitely we did it in less than 3 minutes. But yeah, I think we have done all of the boss fights that disappear once you progress the story. So we're now full speed ahead to progress the story. That's one boss down. Unfortunately, I think we are on our way to the hardest boss fight of the challenge. We'll see. I'm gonna give this fight a shot, but I expect that we may not be able to defeat it first attempt. Because you can't get enough iframes, you can't dodge quickly enough to iframe through the combo. This is gonna be ridiculous without L1. We'll give it a few more attempts, but we may need to come back and try it after we are as strong as we possibly can be. There's nothing I can do if I'm not allowed to press L1. Here we go. That was not bad, actually. The circling strats. Okay, that's one. I did not expect him to come back in so quick. Okay, okay. Okay. Apparently you just dodge behind him and it's fine. Sorry, I'm doing terrible with the timer today, by the way. But I'm just glad we beat that guy. I'm not super worried about the timer on that one. It's a short fight if you can survive, but surviving is really not easy, but we did it. Okay, we had to come a roundabout way to get here because we do not have the technique that lets us mind control the monkey to get past the snake. So we had to go through the abandoned dungeon and drop down into the huge chasm to end up here. But here we are. Another Snake Eyes fight. I suppose we will go ahead and do 2 Snake Eyes fights in this episode. 'Tis alright. The enemies shooting me from over there are really annoying, actually. I really should heal. But we did alright. I guess no timer this episode. Okay, the reason we're gonna do one more. That was 3 bosses. I have liked this theme of 4 boss fights per episode. Not really a theme, but anyway, we have been a little bit trapped in the order we've done these because I got to Guardian Ape. I don't want to do that before I did this fight because I do want to be able to get past this area without fighting the second Guardian Ape fight. I am going to fight that eventually because we obviously are doing every boss fight, but I do know that's likely one of the hardest boss fights in the game. For me, maybe not super hard for this challenge in particular, but I've struggled with that boss fight enough that I wanted to give myself the leeway to do it whenever I wanted, rather than having to do it to progress to Corrupted Monk, for example. So that's why we had to do both Snake Eyes in this episode, because there aren't that many other options left if I'm not going to do Guardian Ape. I had to come this way. And then there's Senpo Temple. I could have done Senpo Temple stuff today, but I wanted to save Senpo Temple stuff for later. So here we are. Not yet sure what the last boss fight I will do today will be. Maybe just... Oh, I was gonna say maybe Corrupted Monk, but on the way to Corrupted Monk is Orin, who I also struggle with. Ironically, I beat Orin in my first playthrough without doing a lot of deflecting because I just ran circles around her and baited out a specific move, and it took a really long time. And that's not the goal of this challenge, so we'll see how Orin of the Water goes. Maybe we should end with her. Maybe that'll be a good one to end with, especially since I have not done Senpo Temple stuff. We can do all the Senpo Temple bosses in one episode, and we'll progress these bosses in this episode. Is there anywhere else I need to go? Guardian Ape we could do Guardian Ape now that we have this here. Maybe that's more appropriate. Oh yeah, because there's also... There are a few bosses down this way. There's the Second Drunkard, there's Miss Noble, Orin of the Water, and Corrupted Monk. So we could do that in one episode, and we wrap this episode with Guardian Ape, which is a favorite of mine. That'll be fun to end with Guardian Ape. So let's do it. It's just you and me, Guardian Ape. Late timer start, but better late than never, I suppose. We did it! That's Guardian Ape defeated. Did it in just 40 seconds. Unbelievable. Some of you might know that I'm being a little facetious. I didn't need to heal there. But there's a phase 2! Yeah. Oh. Yeah, there's first monkey scream. Get my healing. Halfway down through his health bar. Okay, we're getting close. That's not good. One more hit. Okay, we definitely did that in less than 5 minutes. It took longer than 3 minutes for sure. I didn't start the timer until partway through phase 1, but I am giving myself the leeway to beat boss fights in more than 3 minutes, as long as it's less than 5 minutes. That's the goal for boss fights, because they are a little bit longer. Plus, a lot of that fight is waiting for the phase transition. I think we performed admirably in that fight. And that concludes our episode. There are some things I could have done to make that fight a little easier. I could have used firecrackers. I in my first playthrough did not really experiment a lot with prosthetic tools besides shuriken, so I think I've become very confident in playing this game with just R1 basically, and a little bit of shuriken usage. I know some of the openings for firecrackers for some of the enemies, but I don't tend to exploit them to a great degree. If the boss fights become especially hard, we might look into that, but ironically, even in this challenge run, nothing has been extremely difficult. Anyway, that's a little recap of the run so far. I know I was wrapping up the episode, so I don't want to go on for too much longer, but yeah, there you have it. 4 more bosses down, and we'll see you next time.